Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's the Cryptid Huntress. I'm Jessica Jones. Thank y'all so much for being here today. As y'all notice, I started this show right on time today, which is very unusual, but I need every second of every minute that we have today because we have Mark Green here in the studio today. And if you guys will remember, the last time Mark and Rebecca came on, we did well over a 3-hour show. I think it was actually the longest on the Cryptid Hunters channel. And so we just have so much to talk about. Since we had Mark here the last time, he's encountered a Dogman on his property at his farmstead. So we're going to be talking about that today. And it is going to knock your socks off, y'all. And I can't say it's a very pleasant experience for Mark and Rebecca. But nonetheless, we're going to hear about it today. And so thank y'all so much for being here this afternoon with me. If you guys missed our show on Monday, we had Wendell Mosley of Wendell Bigfoot 911. I see Wendell in the chat. Hey, Wendell. And that was a fantastic show. Gosh, it was so fun. And so please go back and check that out. And also on Saturday, we had the MK Davis on the channel. So go back and check that show out too if you missed it. Okay, we keep things popping, on and popping here on the Cryptid Hunters channel. Okay, so, all right. If you guys would like to check out all the events that I'm going to be at and everything, I do have a calendar on my website. Please go over to thecryptidhuntress.com and find my links to all my social media and the events I will be at. I have 2 UFO conferences coming up. I have a Bigfoot festival and I have a Super Soldier activation conference coming up. Those are all different events. And let's see, I may have a flyer. James Rink is throwing this one down in Orlando. I'll be here next month, October the 8th through the 12th. I am speaking on Sunday at a big event that we're having down there in Orlando, Florida. So please come and see me. Get your tickets. It's Super Soldier Con. I think it's Super Soldier Con, like conference.com to get your tickets there. Also in November, I am going to be at the Molina Bigfoot Festival. That's Saturday, November the 8th. Put it on your calendars. I'm going to have several of my teammates there from Seekers. Seekers is a group that I haven't really brought up with you guys too much. Formerly the North Georgia Cryptid Researchers. Now we're called Seekers. Okay. And so we're going to have some of my teammates there and we're going to all do some presentations. It's going to be really, really good. Okay. So we'll see y'all there. Also, you can find links to my Patreon and my shop and all that over on my website. Okay. Let's get to our show. Okay, so we have Mark Green here in the studio. Mark is from the southernmost point of the Appalachian Mountains in central Alabama. He had a sighting in 2007 in Lowndes County, Alabama, which turned into a life of research and investigations into the Bigfoot phenomenon. He slowly discovered there was a group inhabiting his hunting lease called Creepy Mountain. We talked about that the last time he was on the show. And in 2022, Mark and his wife, Rebecca, started a YouTube channel, Cedar Creek Bottoms Farmstead Life. The channel is all about homesteading, farming, and discussing Bigfoot experiences in Alabama and across the U.S. and now Dogman experiences as well. And so you guys, please help me welcome to the show my good buddy, Mr. Mark Green. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Jessica. How are you? Hey, everybody.
Hey, thank you so much for being here. Look at that. You just have the most beautiful home and farmstead back there. And so I'm jealous. I wish I could be outside today too.
Well, I thought I'd get everybody a chance to see the area, which is way back yonder, but they'd see kind of where I'm talking about.
Oh,
And I
now,
love sitting outside doing my lives if I can. So
oh yeah, I do too. Well, you guys do a lot. Y'all, you and Rebecca do a lot of lives outside,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I
we're
can
right here in
appreciate
my
it.
little campfire area, and this is where we have the little Saturday night campfires, once a month, and uh, so it's a nice little spot to sit, and kind of nice out here today. A little hazy, but it's kind of nice. So
Well, it's very beautiful, and we did hear from Wendell, who we had here on Monday. Wendell said that you got, yeah, and I'm sorry I missed it. I would have loved to have been at your fireside chat or whatever what y'all did on last weekend. I'd love to have been there. I did have MK Davis here on the show, and so I had to be here to hang out with MK. Okay, but
I
but
understand.
Wendell told us about it. He said it was awesome.
Yeah, we had a good time. Had a good group show up. And, I think everybody had a good time. So.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, I love it, and it's really cool that you guys open up your home to let some friends and family come over and hang out and talk about Bigfoot and stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, last time you came on, like I told the audience, I think that's the longest show that I've ever had on my channel was when you came on. We
Well, I
talked
hope
for
that
over
was a
3
good
hours.
thing. I hope that was a good thing. So,
It was amazing. It was so great. We could have probably talked for 3 more hours. We
oh, yeah.
probably could have.
Yeah, we just scratched the surface. So
We did. We did. Well, I want you to come back on for another Saturday night show when you can.
okay,
But I'm going to take what I can get. Okay. And
all right.
today we're going to talk about your most recent encounter, and that happened on your property right behind you. Now, Mark,
Right.
please tell me what happened.
Okay, well, let me back up just a little bit to the prior weekend before that. That way, we'd had our fire pit here at the house on that Saturday night, and we had a few extra people that got to make it, and a few of them went. I don't know if you can tell. There's a pond right behind me too. So everybody might can see that pond. A couple of them walked down there to get away from the crowd to be able to smoke, and two of them started kind of not real calling real out loud to get my attention, but they was getting my attention to come here. So I walked down there, and I had some trees fall back in the spring that I hadn't really got to cut up real good yet. Hadn't had time. It's just been too hot to fool with cutting up trees right now, and they're not really in the way or bothering anything. So, but one of them said, "Man, I keep seeing something black inside." When the tree fell over, of course, all the leaves are still on it, but it has some openings in it. And he said, I keep seeing something moving in there. And his wife did too. And then another person walks up. And while all four of us are standing there, we see something move in there. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, one of the boogers more likely, or maybe a deer or something else. But I'm thinking maybe, it's about the time for them to show up. They pretty much like clockwork here, usually around August, September. So I was thinking maybe the boogers have showed up. They're seeing what's going on up here at the house, and one's getting pretty close for him to watch. We kind of kept an eye out the rest of the night down there best we could, and I even took my thermal later that night and scanned everything after everybody left, but I didn't see anything. We'll roll on to Thursday from that Saturday. I was off that day. I was trying to get some stuff done around here that I hadn't been able to do. And my field that I plant watermelons in, I didn't plant no big watermelon patch this year, but I've been trying to keep that field disked real good to keep grass from growing up and all that. And I decided I'd run my tractor through it and do some cleanup on it. And I started around, I don't know, about 2:30 that afternoon, and I started plowing. I plowed it one way, then I turned and started plowing it the other way. Close around 4:00, somewhere right in that neighborhood, I was heading toward my wood line with my tractor. I was probably within 100 feet, 150 foot of the wood line, somewhere give or take in there. I done a video on it too, so I kind of showed everybody about where the tractor was when this happened. But as I'm heading toward that wood line, all of a sudden, two of the biggest buck deer I ever seen come busting out of that wood line, running straight at me. And I'm like, what in the world's going on here? And I'm talking about they are full stride. They get within 50, 60 feet of me, and they just do a broadside turn, and they go in, run all the way across the field into my neighbor's yard, or property, excuse me. Of course, the whole time I'm watching them as they go, and I'm still letting the tractor go forward. When I turn back to look, the property behind me belongs to another guy, and he had clear cut it last winter. So it's growed up in the weeds and briars and all kind of stuff. Well, there was an opening there, not no gigantic opening, but an opening. When I looked straight ahead, I could see this black figure standing inside that cutover from that wood line, maybe 25 yards in there, give or take. I could see a black figure, head, shoulders, torso. Couldn't really see legs, but I could tell that it was something standing on two legs looking at me. When I seen it, I guess it realized I was looking at it. So that's when it turned, and when it turned is when I seen what I describe as a canine-looking head. A very short muzzle looking, not no real long one, a short one. And I could see little bitty ears, not like a German Shepherd or a Dogman pincher, but this was more like, you could see them a little bit. And it just turned and walked right back into that cutover. Now, when I done my video, I showed people how tall those weeds were. Some of them are 6 and 7 foot tall down there. Come to find out, where this was standing was actually in a deer trail. So that's probably one reason I was able to see him, because when me and Rebecca went and done the video on it, I could tell a trail there. Of course, I just took the tractor and came to the house. I didn't even try to go look. I didn't try to go enter into that cutover. I just came to the house with the tractor, got off, called Rebecca, talked with her a little bit about it. And then I called my friend Spencer over on Woodwalkers, talked with him a few minutes about it. And of course, we had a live that Thursday night we were doing. And that night on the live, I went ahead and let everybody know that I had seen that. And I'll tell you, then it kind of got a little emotional for me toward later in the night. I guess it sunk in that I was seeing something totally different than I've seen in my past with the boogers. I knew these things existed, but that day it became a big reality. So, and this thing was jet black. It's black as ace of spades. I couldn't tell if it had a tail. I didn't hear anything. Of course, I was on a tractor, so it had been pretty loud for me to hear anything over that tractor. When I first seen it, I could not tell what I knew. I thought I was looking at a Bigfoot when I first seen it, because the sun was in my face, kind of. The sun, was in the west. I was heading kind of west, so there was a little sun there that was kind of keeping me from seeing it full blown. But when it turned, I could see the outline. And so, I talked to Rebecca about it. Told her we really need to watch here around the house. I said, told her, I said, I don't know what's going to happen, because we have, chickens and turkeys. We have goats, outside dogs, got a couple of outside cats. So that kind of worried me about them, but so far, nothing has been messed with here. Now, I've been having a lot of little trickster things going on, and I'm not 100% sure what that's coming from. But I had somebody tell me the other day I may have had little people messing with me by some of the stuff going on. But some weird little things. Sister.
It's your guard dog.
Hey. It's okay. It's just the neighbors. Okay.
She's a good girl.
Yes, she is. Sorry about that.
That's okay. I got a dog too. She's sitting right here.
Surprised she didn't hear and she could get her to barking.
Oh, just wait. If she might bark. You never know. Well, Mark, that's pretty amazing. Really scary. The fact that it's right there at your home. And I got to ask you about how far is where you live from where I went and met y'all at that camp out, because, and I'm only asking you this because when I was leaving and I told you about what I saw leaving that event, and you almost described it to a T, what I saw leaving down the road that night. I thought I was looking at like an African dog or something, but it was the size of a bear, and it had smaller ears, but they were kind of rounded and they had like tufts of hair around them. It was weird, real weird. I'm wondering if it's anywhere close to where you were, we had this encounter.
Well, from where you've seen what you've seen at, and where I've seen would be about 12 miles. So
that's not that far.
Not that
far. In Dogman yards, it's not that far.
Probably not. And anything from that area or this area could get to that back and forth pretty easy just north of me. There's a big creek north of me that goes all the way back into the national forest. So something they could travel, and it ain't mostly nothing but farmland and woods along that creek. So something could move in and out. Now, of course, I'm only 2.5 miles from Creepy Mountain. I could have something, coming from there. A lot of times I feel like what comes here is coming from Creepy Mountain. But then I've had some people tell me they think it's coming from the north of me from that creek area. So, and it could very well be. Back in 23, in fact, you've seen some of the pictures because I sent some of them to you of the corn patch. Well, a lot of people don't realize in that corn patch pictures where I call it the bucket-headed looking Bigfoot is, that picture. Over all the way to the right side of that picture, you have to look real good, but there is a canine looking thing standing there looking at me too with Bigfoot. If that's Bigfoot, I don't know. I ain't never seen nothing with a bucket looking head, but you can see something standing up in the corn too. And it has a canine looking head, and it's kind of a short snout, and its little ears are not real big, and they're kind of sticking out this way instead of up. Possibility I could have seen the same one that was there in that corn patch that video caught. So very possible.
They could be coming from both areas, Mark. They could be coming from the creek and from Creepy Mountain. I mean, they could be coming from all over the place, depending upon how many you got.
Well, it's pretty wooded here. I've got neighbors. I mean, I've got neighbors. I can see their houses, and the road I live on is fairly busy because it goes to several communities above me. So, I mean, I live kind of, I guess you'd call semi-rural. But still, there's a lot of woods here. There's a lot of ponds, creeks, a lot of wildlife. So it's a good place for something to really hang out. And of course, in the past several years, I've had several neighbors have activity at their homes. And one lady, I hate it. She just passed away here a few weeks ago, but she really got a good look at a booger one day or one night. So, with what they've told me, what they've experienced, and the tracks we've found here, and all the stuff we've had happen here, I don't know. This may be a meeting place, or it may be they just following me around. I don't know for sure. Because about everywhere I've lived, they've showed up. So, you know, it's kind of weird, and I don't really know what the answer is to that. But you know, that was a reality check for me. Even though I had done worked 2 Dogman sightings north of me, about 20 miles. The guy that owns property, you know, he's got pictures and everything, and I'd been there several times, and he definitely has something going on that property. And then had another guy talk to me about what he'd seen, and then other friends that had over time. In fact, there's one right there, blue-eyed, and them, it caught something in LBL that resembles a Dogman. So I knew these things existed, but till you really put your eyes on something of that nature, it don't click. You know, I guess you'd say I done got a little bit used to the boogers, Bigfoot. I done got a little used to them. I guess you'd kind of say used to them.
Yeah.
This was a whole different ball game, you know. So
It is.
now I had several people tell me they think what I seen was a gugway, but but they put with it, if it was, and if it was hanging out, I was probably going to start hearing about people's pets going missing, hearing about all kind of stuff. I haven't heard that. So then I had several people say it's just a Dogman that hangs out with the group of boogers that's in this area and probably not going to bother nothing. So, you know, and that's all you can do with that. Yeah, it would be more like that, similar to that hyena looking thing. That's kind of what that snout looked like. Yeah.
Mark, that's how I described what I saw.
Yeah.
It looked like the face looked like that, but it was all black, jet black.
Yeah. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you a picture real quick of what the closest thing I found to what I saw. And it's this, that dog right there. That's what it looked like. It was that black.
Yeah, that's about right. And the ears is real short. Yeah. Yeah, that's very similar. Now put that on standing on 2 legs, looking at you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the one that I saw was crouched down, and it had smaller ears, but they had hair kind of coming out in the front of them. And and so it moved like a panther, but that's exactly what the head looked like. This is exactly, to me, that's what I saw leaving Hollins that night. So, but it was way bigger than that. Had shoulders.
And that could be the type that runs around this area. You know, most of the Dogman stuff I hear in this area is north of me. You know, it's more, you know, kind of in the central part of Talladega National Forest and kind of up that way. I hadn't really heard it down this way. And then when there was corn patch pictures a few years ago, when several other people found that and said, hey, besides possibly boogers, you may have something else in there. And we went and looked at it, and I said, Lord have mercy, you know. And then I'll be honest with you, me and Rebecca have found some odd looking, I call it odd looking dog tracks. In fact, I found a track out here where I planted my small watermelon patch at this year. I had several people say that was a Dogman track, not a Bigfoot track. So I'm not sure, you know, I mean, I'm having to learn on that. This is something I ain't never dealt with. Even though I was going up some people's properties not too far from here, you know, and seeing stuff and, you know, seeing their pictures and them telling me what they were seeing, till you put your eyes on your own one, it's a whole different ball game. Yeah. So.
Well, Mark, I tell you, I had a really hard time trying to figure out what I was looking at that night. And because it was something I had never seen before. And that's why I can relate to how you felt when you saw that thing. Because you want to think, well, I kept thinking, well, that's a dog. Then I was like, but it's the size of a bear. and then it moved like a panther. And so it was just really confusing. And I don't think it was any of those three. I think it was a dog, probably a Dogman, maybe. But
it sounds like it, and of course the area you've seen it in already has a history of a lot of stuff going on, and with that family that lives there close by and their property, they've had years and years of Booger history, I know. So and so that told me a lot right there. You know, when you told me, you kind of told me about the area it was at, and I knew then right off the bat, she was right in the heart of where stuff's going on at. You know, of course that's private property, and I had to kind of keep that on the low key.
yeah.
You know, because them people, they don't want to be on YouTube and all that stuff, and of course they don't want nobody to know where their property is. But they definitely have a lot going on. I will say this much: they got out of the cattle business, went just to cutting hay because they was losing so many calves every year. They couldn't find the calves.
Oh.
So they got out of the cattle business because of losing calves every spring and not finding evidence where they went. So they just went to cutting hay off their property and selling hay instead of fooling with cows. So it got to that point. And and I believe what they're saying. There's no doubt. And some of the stuff they showed me. So there's no doubt something's used in their area. And, you know.
Well, my goodness. Okay. Well, that's tragic for the cows. I hate that they were losing their babies. But it makes sense if they've got Sasquatch and probably Dogman out there too. Because, you know, I saw two of them. There were two. One of them had its back to me, and I don't think that's typical for a normal animal to keep its back to some headlights or lights on it. But I don't know. It was really odd.
No, I hadn't really ever. I can't say I've ever really noticed anything. Most of the time they're looking at you when you're coming at them. You know, most animals do. So for it to turn its back and almost act like it didn't want you to see it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. It was It was kind of hunched down in that tall grass by the road, but it was. I mean, it was
grass
feet
right
from
there.
The road.
I went and looked at that area right after you told me, and the sides of the roads growed up pretty good. I'm talking about 3-4 foot tall through there. So I mean, it's pretty tall grass right in there.
It was tall.
In fact,
was tall. I didn't get out of my truck to measure it though.
No, I know. Well, I went in the daytime, so me and Rebecca rode over there a minute because we went to check on everything at Hollins. We just made a ride through there, and we came on out. And I told her, I said, it's about where Jessica's seen what she's seen right here in this area. And I kind of went real slow to see if I could catch trails through the grass or anything like that. But I didn't really see anything out of the ordinary. But I did notice, and one reason that grass is tall right there is Johnson grass. It's a, or some people call it Sudan grass, but it's a type of grass that a lot of people cut for hay, but it gets up to 4 or 5 foot tall. And so there's a bunch of it right in that area. So that's a good place for something to ambush something and that type of stuff. And I know you mentioned that there was a dog way up the road, that when you got up there was a dog just flying down the road, you know, getting away from that area. And I can't help wonder if they wasn't after it or something, you know.
Well, that was my thought too, Mark. I was thinking, well, maybe it was that thing that had its back to me, that had the back facing the road on my right side, and it was hunched over. I could see its shoulders. It looked more like a Bigfoot back, but maybe it was. It almost didn't look like it would have been the same animal as what I was seeing on the left side, because the colors were different. Okay, because this one was all black, and then the other one on the other side was more brownish. And but it was bent over, and I was thinking when I saw the other dog up the road, I saw this dog. It was like a brown and white dog, and I started thinking, well, maybe whatever that was eating its friend. Okay, I know that sounds morbid and gross, but maybe they were eating some roadkill right there or something.
That's a possibility.
That's what I thought, but it was definitely a domesticated dog down the road. About, I'm going to say, it wasn't that far. It was about 75 yards, maybe 100 yards down the road from where I saw those two things. This dog, it was just standing there looking, but it was kind of looking back towards where those animals were. So it was all weird. It was very weird.
Yeah, that was weird. That is strange. And I mean, right there where it's at told me a whole lot right there when you said where it was at. That just pointed to a lot of stuff. That whole area right in there has had stuff for years and years. So just kind of like where I live at, there's a lot of stuff going on here. I just didn't ever think I would lay my eyes on something like that. I figured, yeah, I might see a booger again here and there. You know, might get a glimpse of one. I didn't realize I was going to see something with a snout, you know, looking at me. And so it did put some, I guess you'd say, some anxiety in me, you know, a little fearful, more for my animals, my wife, and people in my neighborhood, you know, a little more fearful if that's what that is. That, you know, was we going to start having, you know, if it was going to start having more animals disappeared and stuff coming up around the house, but it really hasn't happened. My neighborhood has a Facebook watch page. I keep an eye on it. Nobody said nothing about anything. I haven't talked to the other witnesses that seen stuff a few years ago. Well, of course, I can't one of them now because she, like I said, she passed away a few weeks ago. But I haven't talked to them. But usually if something goes on, they're usually pretty good about contacting me, letting me know, hey, something's going on over here at the house, or we're hearing stuff. Now, the biggest thing I've noticed since then is I was doing a show with old line Cryptids, Jerry and Jeff, and I was doing a live from outside just like I am now. Of course, it was nighttime. Done got to be about 9:30. I done kept hearing something down here toward which you can't see the corner of my shop from right here, but it's right there. But I was sitting, but this time I was facing toward the field. And I had my thermal out here actually with me that night too. But we were in the show talking, and sister was still out here with me. She didn't go in the house with Rebecca. Rebecca got ready to go to bed. The sister stayed out here with me. Well, I noticed all of a sudden she gets up and kind of comes over more my way and sits down, which, I mean, that's not unusual for her. But it's just like she woke up, come right over here and sat down, you know. We're sitting here, maybe another 10 minutes went by, and I hear something come through these leaves, like something was thrown. And it lands over here behind me in my driveway. And I stop. You know, even Jerry and them noticed I stopped real quick because I went to staring, and sister stood up and was staring right at the corner of my shop down there. And I kind of started staring too. We couldn't, and I didn't pick up my thermal right off the bat. I should have probably went ahead and done that right then, but I didn't pick it up. So I kept talking with them, and I kept hearing little stuff happening around my shop. And so anyway, I got off the show with them, and of course I went and looked then. I went and shined my light, took the thermal, looked around, ain't seen nothing. So I said, well, you know, maybe I just hearing things. Maybe that was an acorn that fell a weird way through the tree, which I don't think it was. But it sounded like it came from yonder way, and it came all the way through and made it to. And then the next day I did look around the driveway just because I got a paved driveway. So I was looking for a rock out of place or something, you know, that shouldn't be there, but I didn't really find anything. And but that going back to that night when that happened, after I got offline with Jerry and them, I carrying a computer in the house, locking up, turning the lights off, and maybe hadn't been in the bed maybe, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes. And all of a sudden, sister just stands up in the bed and starts growling toward my window. The window, I'm pretty close to a window. Rebecca's way away from a window. And she just went to growling in a low growl toward that window.
Ooh, that's not a good feeling. That's
so
terrible at night.
Yeah, it is. And I get up and I look around, but I don't see anything. And that's happened pretty regular since then with sister getting up during the night. Usually when she growls, it's something different there. When she barks, that's usually when it's another dog or a cat or something like that. But when she does this deep growl, it's something different there. You know, I've noticed that it's a whole different growl, you know, a whole different tone to her. Here about 2 weeks ago, I started cutting hay here at the house. And, of course, you know, running 2 tractors and stuff. And noticed I started having problems with both tractor batteries all at one time. I'm like, what in the world's going on? You know, this don't make sense. And I started finding my tractor lights were being turned on it. So I guess the lights being on at night, and I guess not noticing it because they kind of park behind the shop. I'm assuming that's what drained my batteries, because I could jump the tractor right off and it'd run. So I'm going like, you know, what's playing with my lights, you know? Now, in the past, I've had that happen before. And what I started doing is just unplugging the battery to keep from it get drained. But
God, that's smart. They're smart.
Oh yeah, they are.
Yeah.
It's like something, I don't know. I had a few people tell me the other night it's like somebody's trying to drain the power off of it. Because here's what's strange. For the fire pit, I usually move all my vehicles out from up here around the house where there's more parking here around the house. So I have an old hunting truck. I mainly use it for Creepy Mountain and places like that because Creepy Mountain is so rough. And so I pulled it down there, and then I pulled my farm truck down there by where the tractors are. My hunting truck ain't gave me no issues with no battery. In fact, I bought a new battery for it back in March. So that battery is not even 6 months old yet. Sunday morning, I get up to clean up from the campfire and move vehicles back. That truck's dead as a doornail. So I had to jump it off. I said, this is getting ridiculous here now. I said, I've got 2 tractors giving me fits. Now this black truck. Now my blue truck, my farm truck, it started right up. But it was the truck closer to the house than the black truck. And it's running fine now. I mean, I can go out there every time, hit it, and it cranks up. So scratching my head on that. But there's no way you could pop that hood on that one without getting inside, pulling the little hood lever, latch.
Mm-hmm.
The tractor batteries, you could get to them pretty easy. But like I said, I was finding them lights flipped on. And when I noticed that on the black truck, there was no lights flipped on. Everything was where it was supposed to be. So I don't know what to make of that. But I've had that stuff happen in the past before, all of a sudden. Some people think they're coming up draining that power off in batteries. And I even done an experiment here a few years ago with a battery, and it was getting drained. I took a battery out in the middle of my field, a marine battery, charged it up to 100%. Would go out there every day with my voltmeter and check the amperage or volts on it. 2 days, it went to 0 from 14 something volts down to 0 in 2 days. Now, it don't make sense. It don't make sense. So,
you're probably having UFOs coming in and swooping down and taking that energy.
Well, I don't know.
Kidding. Who knows?
Well, I had a friend that's a Native American friend, and he was here this week, and he said to him it sounded like little people. But he said that's the stuff they do. They play with lights. They're tricksters. I have never seen a little person. So even with all this Bigfoot research I've done since 2007, I've heard people that's seen them. I know several people personally that's seen them. I mean, I don't know. So, and it could be this other stuff is, fooling around here at night. So I don't know. But also, we've been finding our gates open back to our barn. I haven't found any of my rabbit cage doors open. So far, that hasn't been messed with. But of course, a lot of times I accuse Rebecca of leaving the gates open, and she reassures me, "Hey, I did not leave that gate open." So, but some odd stuff like that. So that's the different things that's been happening since I seen that. But hadn't heard any vocals. It's been very quiet here at night. On the nights I'm off, me and her are usually outside to after dark because this time of year is just real nice.
Mhm.
So that's basically what's went on, but it does have my head more on a swivel now. I do watch that wood line. When I was cutting hay here a couple weeks ago, I was really watching that wood line back in there. I was watching for movement or something, maybe peeping out behind a tree at me, but I never seen nothing. Oh, the other thing was during that time period, I did notice this. I've got a deer feeder down there in my field,
Mhm.
and it was full of corn. And every 3 or 4 days, I'll walk down there and just check to make sure it's putting out good and check the the level of the corn in it. I usually never have corn left on the ground. Once that thing puts out corn, the deer, the birds usually clean it up every day. I went down there
Chipmunks
one
too.
day and there was probably 2 or 3 days worth of corn laying on the ground that hadn't been touched. And I knew that was odd.
Huh.
So that tells you the animals were staying away from that area right there. Now they've started back since then. And I do have a game camera that points at that feeder, and I don't have anything odd on it. But I had a few nights where no deer come to that feeder, which is very highly unusual for right here where I live at. So now, the other night when we had our fire pit, everybody had left except for one of my friends. Me and him sat out here we sat out here till almost 3 a.m. in the morning just talking. We got in some good discussions, and time just got by us and we didn't realize it. Now, we did hear some weird things Saturday night, especially about 2 a.m. We started hearing some weird rackets. One of them was across the road to the east of me up on that ridge. And we did hear something one time. It just made a crazy sound. Just crazy sound. So.
Hmm. Well, I was okay. So you answered my question kind of. When I was going to ask you about putting cameras out and seeing if you had any kind of game cams. Now you got that one game cam pointed towards your feeder out there, but what about around your house? Have you ever thought about? I mean, especially now, since you've had this encounter with what seemed to be maybe a dogman out there, have you thought about putting cameras out?
I have in the past put cameras out when I knew the boogers were around here, but I really just didn't catch nothing. I thought about putting a couple out, just more or less to push them back. If they came up real close to the house, maybe they'd see them and back off. But I didn't. But I haven't caught anything. I still I'm not noticing anything except for these little things, and between sister growling at night, and finding gates open, lights. Now, in the last week or so, I hadn't found no lights on the tractors messed with, just a black truck, Sunday morning. So I will probably be putting out another camera here. I usually keep 2 running during the winter here. One over here behind where my stepdaughter lives. I'll probably put it back up because it's over where the goats are, and I probably do need to put a camera on them goats. But now my animals have not acted nervous or shook up or anything. And I can always, and I'll tell you one reason how I can tell if something's fooling around my barn is those rabbits. When you walk in that barn, if something's been messing with them, they'll be jumpy. In other words, as soon as I open that gate and walk into that rabbit barn, they'll jump. Then once they realize it's me, they'll kind of calm down. They'll do Rebecca the same way. And then you can walk in there a lot of days and they never do nothing. And then over here, we got an extra pen with a rooster with some Rebecca's special chickens, we call them. But she's got a rooster over there that all of a sudden became mean in the last few months. And what I mean, he wants to jump on me when I go in there.
Oh, no. The attack rooster.
But he doesn't mess with Rebecca.
Uh-oh.
She thinks because me being a big man, tall and big, that rooster's relating it to something else.
Ooh.
Maybe. So, because that's right there where I found that track was within 50 foot of that chicken pen, the one I found back in May. And she's thinking, maybe is something, fooling with them chickens and that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, geese are still coming fairly regular, but they don't stay here all the time. Every night they'll leave.
I love our geese. I grew up on a farm, Mark. Okay, so I grew up on a farm, and we had cows as well. And what's interesting is, I remember for decades my family had Black Angus cows, but eventually, after my grandfather passed away, the family I guess they sold off all the cows and started just baling hay, and that's what they did for 30 years, I guess. Just baling hay on our property. But we had geese too. I had all that. Okay. And I miss my geese.
Oh, yeah.
I miss my geese. Those geese will alert when there's something wrong at night too, especially if they're on your property at night. They honk. Trust me, y'all. They do.
Yeah, these are the Canadian geese, and they come here just about every day. Sometimes they'll skip one day, but they were staying here at night for a while on my pond, and they quit staying back probably about the same time I seen the Dogman looking thing out there. I noticed they quit staying at night because they'd get on my pond at night and sleep, but all of a sudden they kind of quit that. So
this is Joe Parker, I believe. Okay. Hey, Joe.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. He said, are the goats eating the wood line back behind the field?
Well, they're not back there and that behind where I'm at. They're over here at the wood line that's closer to the house and kind of in behind where the rabbit barn and where the green block house is, Joe. That's kind of where they're at. So they're a lot closer to us. And yes, they're doing a good job. They're killing them privet for me. I'm loving that because I'd like to get rid of all that privet, and they're really doing a number on that stuff back there. So,
that's always good.
Nothing has messed with them. Now we did find a odd looking tree that had been pushed over right behind where the billy goat is. His name's Boudreaux. We call him Boudreaux. I don't know why, it just fit. But
I like that.
Yeah, Boudreaux. But right behind, they hadn't been there because we're using electric fence. We're using what they call goat netting. And a lot of people use that. That way you can move the goats every so many days to new grass or new bushes. And also it helps on your parasite load on the animals. So we're moving them every so many days to a new spot. And we had put that up on a Saturday. I helped Rebecca put it all up. We put Boudreaux in his section. And Of course, I was working that weekend. That Sunday morning, I come in from work, and Rebecca had been down there, fed them and was checking on them. And she said, I need you to come look at something real quick before you lay down. She said, there's an odd looking tree that wasn't there yesterday. And she said, you shouldn't remember it was there. She said, because you was back there too. I said, yeah, I'll come look. And there was a sweet gum about this big around, being over right behind where that section of fence is. It was strange. It was strange. And it's still like that now, even though we've moved them from that spot. We didn't have no wind. We ain't had no rain here since about the 1st of September. It's dry. So that was very odd, that limb being pushed down right behind where he was at. But now he didn't act nervous. He acted like everything was hunky-dory. So I've had a few people tell me they're probably not going to bother stuff just like they hadn't in years. They said probably not going to bother nothing. So, because they said if it was a gugway, I probably already know about it. I would probably know what I was dealing with, So.
That's my understanding too of gugways. I don't think I've come across one, but I don't know. I don't think so.
I hope I don't either.
Yeah. For people who aren't familiar with the gugway, that's actually it's in a category of one of the Bigfoots, a Sasquatch. It's a type 3, which has like a muzzle, like a long snout. They say it has kind of a longer snout, like a Dogman. But I don't think they have those digigrade legs, and it gets real technical. Okay, some people get real technical with it, but they are very violent. The Beast of Seven Shoots, I believe, was supposed to be a gugway as well, up in, I think that was either in Canada or New York, up in that area. But Blazer says gugway is like an inbred Sasquatch. No, I don't know. They're all, who knows? But could be.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you go ahead.
I had a friend, and I think I've mentioned this to you before, that grew up in South Alabama, who mentioned the Bear Man. He called him the Bear Man, which could be a gugway. But they had what he said was the regular boogers on their property that didn't mess with much. Occasionally they'd get a chicken, or they would, get crops out of the fields, but that's about the extent of it. But he said he could always tell when this other group of what he called the Bear Men would move in, because the good Bigfoot would just leave out. And he said, his grandfather would tell him, hey, stay out of the woods right now. Don't be outside after dark. They'll be here for a month or two, and then they'll be gone. So, let's just try not to get them stirred up. And he finally got a good look at one. He didn't pay his granddaddy any attention and stepped outside one night to do something. And he was within 10 foot of one. And that's what he described was a shortened muzzle, kind of a more bear-looking features. And he said it was growling at him, showing its teeth to him. And, of course, he ran right back in the house. And when I talked to him and described what I was describing, he said, well, that kind of sort of sounds like that. But he said, I don't know for sure, So I had a couple of people lean that way, and most everybody else has been leaning more toward the Dogman. So.
Mm-hmm. Man, yeah, I've heard about bear men as well, and that's actually come up in some conversations up in some events that happened up in East Tennessee with my whole zombie bear thing that I was talking about. Right. But there's been reports in one of the areas that my team researches. There's a woman that showed up one night, and it was when the portal incident happened, and this lady was saying, hey, this random woman came out of nowhere into the base camp. And while the portal was happening with most of the team out there, we had one person back at the base camp running the radios. And this lady kept insisting that he call people back to the group, back to the base camp, because she had to show them where the monkey bears were. She kept calling them monkey bears. And I'll have to tell you about that another time, I guess. But okay. But I don't know, monkey. I think she meant Bigfoot is what she meant, I think. Okay. But she was calling them monkey bears. That's odd, isn't it?
She didn't leave her name or nothing, huh?
Oh no, we got her name. We actually
Oh,
tracked
did
down who she was. Yeah, we tracked
Oh,
down who she was and everything. And
okay.
it turned out she knew a lot of she knew some of the names of the people that were with us, and it was just weird. It felt like she got sent there by somebody.
Yeah, that did sound
Yeah,
odd. That did sound odd. So yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's
Just to
really weird.
just to show up in your camp too. I mean, what's the chances of going out in the middle of nowhere and showing up in the middle of camp? You know, that right there kind of get me kind of like, there's something weird here. So
Yeah, it was all very weird. When you start getting into even going Bigfooting, okay, like just going out to look for Bigfoot really opened me up to a lot of other stuff, a lot of
right,
other cryptids, and I feel like I'm like a beacon of light when it comes to the weird stuff now, just like you are. I think that's what's going on with you. I think that may be part of it, is like you've experienced the Bigfoots out there, you and Rebecca both, and it's almost like put you on a different frequency to where y'all are having more experiences now.
right.
And
Yeah, I
I
agree
think
with
it's the
that.
people.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And the paranormal too. It seemed like the paranormal has revved up more, and the orbs. And when Patrick Noble was here back a few months ago at one of the fire pits after everybody left, me and him were still sitting out here, and we watched the orb go across my neighbor's pasture. We watched it go all the way
Oh,
across, and Patrick kept saying, at first we thought it was a lightning bug, because there were a few lightning bugs out, but then it never went out no more. It just said, it just went all the way across and then boop, just disappeared. And I just don't feel like that was no lightning bug, and it was a lot bigger too. So hey, Jeff, good to see you, brother. Good to see you.
hey Jeff. Oh my gosh. We've had a bunch of questions in the chat since we started talking today. And one of the
Okay.
questions actually was about seeing lights on your property. Let me see. I've put some stars on those. Let's see if I can find them.
Hey, there's Miss Lanita. Good to see
Yeah,
her.
Miss Lanita's here. Hey, Lanita. I just reached out to her last week. Okay, Rogue Morris says, "Do you ever see lights in those woods?" I guess you do, right? If you saw that orb
We've,
out there.
we've seen some odd lights at nights before. Here, Rebecca has seen some stuff because I work night shifts, so some nights I'm not home. She's told me about now we do have neighbors, so it's hard to say sometimes if it's a neighbor doing something or what's going on. Yeah, he did, but he's a good guy, Joe. He's a good guy. But anyway, so we've seen some odd things. We've heard some odd noises at night. One night something hit my shop so loud it was my shop's got tin around it, the old timey tin that's real thick.
Oh yeah.
We was laying there in the bed one night, and I mean, it sounded like somebody drove and hit my shop with a truck. And
Oh.
I come out looking around, I ain't seen nothing nowhere. I don't know what it was. But now, as far as seeing the lights, I'm gonna tell you now, is Hollins is a hotbed when they're going. What I call the flashes of lights and the orbs.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like lightning's going off, but it ain't. I don't know where it's coming from. There's Flat Rock's experienced that. A bunch of people have experienced that down there. We have that happen a lot at Creepy Mountain too. The flashes of light, orbs. We used to have tons of orbs on that lake up there. And a lot of them would be green. Some of them kind of a yellow color. They've seen some red ones up there. And one that was rectangular. They said it was rectangular looking. It looked like it had legs hanging off of it. So I don't know what that was all about.
Wow.
That was strange there. So yeah, lights, weird noises. I know somebody asked. I seen a question a while ago too about were they taking anything or leaving anything. We have found some odd stuff around the house before that were kind of odd. Found rocks laying on the steps. odd looking rocks. I mean, it's a rock, but it's kind of odd looking. And I'd ask Rebecca, I said, "Where'd you find that?" And that she said, "Well, I didn't find that. It was laying there. I thought you found it." I said, "No, I didn't find that rock." So some stuff like that. As far as anything taken, the only thing I could say they may be taken was they may have took some watermelons. In fact, not long after I seen what I seen down there, I had a few watermelons disappear out of my watermelon patch, my small watermelon patch. And you can tell where a watermelon has sit in the field. It makes an impression there. But no watermelon there and no sign of like a coyote or a deer getting it because they leave evidence. They're going to bust it, they're going to eat it, or they're going to drag it through the field. And you'd see evidence. There was no, it's just like something come in, picked it up, and walked off with it. So, same little spot where that track was that several people said they think was a Dogman track. So, anything else, I can't really think of anything right off bat right now. So.
Well, Mark, it makes you wonder about, first of all, my dog will not eat watermelon. She does not. And I'm not saying that dogmen are just like dogs. Okay. But it's interesting because we're getting reports that dogmen are seen like in California. My friend Javier is in the chat right now. I think he just had to leave, but Javier is with Cryptid 559 out of Fresno, California. And they have citrus orchards and all sorts of, fruit orchards where he lives. And he's had his own encounters with dogmen in these orchards. And sometimes they're seen picking the fruit. It's not only dogmen, but Bigfoot too. But the dogmen have been seen eating fruit, taking the fruit out of the trees. That's weird. To me, that's amazing. It's amazing, but it's not something that I would expect they would eat. I don't know what I think they eat.
Well, the coyotes here are they'll eat about anything. I've noticed they'll eat veggies, meat. So, and if they get an easy food supply, I can see them hitting it, so.
Oh yeah. Well, my dog is picky as heck, I guess. I just give her meat. I give her steak and potatoes every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's looking at them. Hey, I don't want this. I want them steak bits.
Yeah, she knows, but I know. Maybe I should start feeding her watermelon. That would actually be good. I love watermelon. I tried to give her some. Actually, I forgot to eat breakfast this morning. My mom gave me a piece of carrot cake. And so I was eating a little piece of carrot cake. I know I don't usually eat cake, but the carrot cake's good with that cream cheese icing. And I didn't eat the cake. I just ate some icing. And I tried to give my dog the cake and she refused it. And then I gave her some icing and then she ate it. So she's just like me. I know I'm terrible, but anyways, yeah, it's just the fruit thing. And I'm seeing that people in the chat are saying their dogs eat fruit. Okay. My dog just never ate fruit, I guess.
Well, I'll tell you,
it's funny.
Not changing the subject a minute, but Lord mercy, they're getting loud out here now. But
they're having a good time. I love hearing it.
I guess my neighbor's having some trees cut or something. But yes, there has been some recordings here. Blue Eyed is in here in the chat. Her and Joe has done several recordings here and caught some very good stuff, some odd stuff. They come and camped out here at the house a couple of different times, and each time they caught some real good stuff. I have left my recorder out a few times, but my problem is I don't have a lot of time to go back and really go through that audio. Just between my regular job and then trying to farm and keep up the place. It just seems to be, I guess it's not my thing. Even though I know it proves a lot, to me, audio proves a lot more than anything to me. But I'd probably need to, I love the yellow. That's what I grow, yellow meated. But
sounds good.
I need to put more emphasis on the audio. But now, somebody else was here. May have been Flat Rock. I think he left his out running here one time, and he caught something interesting on it too. So,
Yeah.
So yeah, there's been stuff caught from here.
Whoa. We have another question too. Let's see if I can find it. This is from Keiju Ninja. Do you believe you have both Bigfoot and Dogman on your property, which we do? If so, do you think they get along with each other, or are they enemies? What do you think, Mark?
I would think they're getting along because I got them in pictures together.
Yeah.
From that corn patch. So I want to say they're hanging out together.
They're
how much?
plotting and scheming. Plotting and scheming together is what they're doing.
If you go back to August of 2023 and in my YouTube channel, me and Rebecca's YouTube channel, you can go back. There's several videos there. You can see the different pictures that come out of a video that I didn't even catch. It was other people watching my videos catching this stuff. Blue Eyed caught some of it. Miss Bama BF caught some of it, and a couple of other people told me, said, "Hey, Mark, you need to really go back and look at your video and slow it down." And they gave me the time stamps, and I mean, my mouth fell wide open when I was seeing all that, because I was within 20, 25 feet of them and didn't even realize they were there in that corn patch. I was walking my watermelon patch doing a video, just rambling my mouth, talking. And the whole time I had all over here right beside me looking at me like, what's he doing? I mean, they're just staring at me like, what's he up to? And then when that one of those pictures, when you open it up and really look at that picture, when you look over to the right, there's definitely a dog-headed looking thing looking at me, in there with that what looks like a booger. They're right there together, and within 20 feet of each other, and so it's definitely, I think they're hanging together.
I think so too. We showed those pictures the last time you and Rebecca came on the show, and and actually you've done some really good videos where you and Rebecca are out there. You did a walkthrough on your property right there behind you to show where you had that encounter with this Dogman back there. And so what we'll do is after the show, I can put a link to that video that you made with Rebecca in the comments section underneath the video today, and so people can click on that and watch it. And y'all please subscribe as well over on Mark's channel. And Patrick Noble is in the chat. I just want to say happy birthday, Patrick Noble.
Happy birthday, brother. Happy birthday.
Thank you for being here. I put you a piece of artwork on your Facebook page today. It said happy birthday. So thank you for being here. Yeah. Oh man, it makes my day every time Patrick comes in here. Thank you, Patrick. But yeah, I think that I'm glad that your animals have not been affected too bad by these things, and it sounds like they're going after bigger game. If it was chasing those big old deer, those bucks, they got antlers, big old racks on top of their heads. It seems as though they're chasing bigger stuff than but I don't know, your goats probably are pretty big, but
well, they're the what you call the dwarf goats, so they're not huge, but it would be, I hate to say it would be a meal for one. So if they decided they wanted one. But now another thing I've done is pray over my property a lot too. So I'm hoping that the power of the Lord is, protecting this place, and I feel like it is. So,
yes.
But and like I said, there's plenty of wildlife here. There's big deer herds, there's turkeys, plenty of coyotes, raccoons. So they do have other stuff to pick from. And so, and maybe they're just respecting me, hopefully they are, So.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think so. It seems to me as though they know y'all, and they're living peacefully around y'all. And it's almost like maybe they got a safe haven there. And they probably take advantage of the big animals like the deer's coming and feeding. I hate to say this, but feeding out of your garden and stuff. I know y'all got food out there, right?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, anywhere I think you got crops growing, that's a magnet for them because they know that wildlife coming there, and also they can get a little bit of it. I think they do get corn out of people's fields and whatever else they can get. But here in Alabama, we had way back yonder, in Shilton County, which is our big peach growing area, there on I-65 between Birmingham and Montgomery. They had what they called the peach monster back in the 50s and 60s. And I had a pear tree over at my mom's. My mom's place is only 2 miles and something south of here. I went over there on a Friday to check on the place. My niece lives there, but I go over there regular. Had to keep the land bush hogged and all that stuff. And I went over there and I was done told Rebecca, I said, we got to go pick the pears off this tree. That was on a Friday afternoon. I went back Monday. Every pear just about was gone from that tree. And that tree is 20 foot tall.
Oh my gosh.
I asked my brother-in-law, I said, I called him. I said, you happen to pick the pears over the weekend? He said, no. He said, I thought about going out there and getting me a little bucket full. But he said, no, I hadn't touched them. I said, well, every one of them is gone. And I have found Bigfoot tracks there at my mom's around her place before. So
I want to hear more about this peach monster. What is that? What is that supposed to be?
That was in the 50s and 60s. And people were seeing a upright, hairy humanoid get into the peach orchards. They got the sheriff of Shilton County involved in it. They found tracks. At one time, the cast were in the Shilton County courthouse.
No way.
But when they remodeled the courthouse, they said the tracks disappeared. So I don't know if they got put in storage, but there was some newspaper articles on it. It was kind of a big deal down there. They said they hemmed one up in a peach orchard, and the sheriff tried to get the deputies to go in there and shoot it. They refused to go in there. So I will look it up and see if I can find those articles and send them to you. There's newspaper articles about this. Same way about the one that was up in Anniston. They called it the Chockalaka Monster back in the 1930s. That was keeping everybody stirred up there in the Oxford, Anniston, DeArmourville area of where Chockalaka Creek comes through. It was keeping everybody stirred up there.
That's not too far from Talladega.
No, just north of Talladega, right there at the National Forest. Yeah. So.
My goodness. Well,
that was
wow.
Yeah, the sheriff of that county even got a bunch of men to go together hunting for this thing, and they said it was a family because different people have seen it at different times. So.
Wow. Hey, that's pretty cool, but you know what? It's showing a pattern of like all these different, I don't know if you call them cryptids or whatever's out there. Right. Lot of resources out there for them to live off of, as well with the creeks, all the water sources, and somebody in the chat, I accidentally took their comment down, but they were asking about. Oh, here it is. It's Urso. It says, important thing, some animals will not eat some of our food because it's synthetic. It has toxins, chemicals in it. Have the Dogmen and Bigfoot shown similar behavior? I would assume that Bigfoot and Dogmen prefer organic, I think. What do you think, Mark?
I would probably think so. Me and my buddy was doing some baiting one time, and we was putting out peanut butter, apples, Oreo cookies, peanut butter jelly sandwich. We tried all, and they took everything except for one thing. He had put some deer meat in his freezer, and he took that deer meat out. And we hung that deer meat up in the tree, and they wouldn't touch that. But I wonder if it was something about it being frozen and then thawing out. They didn't like it or something. But now they'll eat the devil out of them Oreo cookies.
Oh, they will, and those have all sorts of chemicals in them.
Oh yeah, they love them Oreo cookies.
Who doesn't?
You know, they were taking them cookies. We'd make them peanut butter sandwiches. They were snatching them. Of course, we was buying the cheap white bread, putting that stuff on it,
That's the best kind. For
they were snatching it.
Peanut butter banana sandwiches.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Some people put a little mayonnaise on it.
I have to have that for lunch today.
I might have to go get some myself. That sounds good. Some of that colonial bread, and yeah, it's I'll eat some of that. That's gourmet over here in my parts. Okay, so
they still making colonial bread.
I don't know. I just said that.
Okay.
That's what I grew up on. Okay,
that's what I was gonna say. I hadn't seen colonial bread in a long time. I
know. I think they do.
That was the fixture in this area for years. You didn't see no other bread than colonial.
That's the best kind. I assume they still make it. I haven't bought regular white bread in a long time. So.
Right. We buy rye bread most of the time. Yeah. Or Rebecca's fixing to get back to making our sourdough. So when she does that, we'll eat that more than anything. So.
Oh my gosh. Man, oh man. Well, this has been a wonderful time getting to sit down with you, Mark. I know you and I could, like I said, we could talk for hours. We could. And but I guess this is a good place to kind of wrap things up a little bit today, because I've just really enjoyed having you here. And I think that we answered most of the questions. I think we got most of them. There's probably some more that I missed in here today. But what do you have planned in the future for your furry friends you got living around your house out there? Can I just make one suggestion? I would say if you're going to put a camera out there at all, point one towards your bedroom window by where you sleep on the outside. I would say do that. Put one out there by your bedroom window to see what's coming up and looking in your window at night, because sister would not be alerting if there wasn't something out there.
Right. I agree with you 100% there. I may try that, see what happens. And
I'd do something. I don't know. It might freak you out a little bit. If you saw
I'd
something.
do it. Well, if it's just the boogers, I probably could handle it a little better. But now if I start seeing other stuff, I might, so, because that was a reality check, no doubt.
I bet. Well, you're just going to keep on keeping on out there, right? Just
that's all I can do, and keep an eye out for stuff. And of course, hunting season's fixing to come in here in Alabama, so I'll be in the woods a lot more, and I'll be watching out for stuff, So.
Oh yeah. So just keep your head on a swivel. That's what I always say here at the end of my shows. I always say, y'all just keep your head on a swivel. Don't live in fear, but live in awareness. Just be aware. Right. What does Rebecca think about all this? How's she handling it?
She does pretty good with it. She grew up with a lot of paranormal going on around her. She never thought about Bigfoot till me and her started dating, and I started bringing it up, but she accepted it pretty quick. She has learned a good bit about it. She has not got a good full-blown look at one yet, or anything like that, but she's heard noises. She's heard the whoop. She's seen the lights and stuff. So she's very open to it. But she, we got that trip coming up to Gettysburg soon. So she's really looking forward to Gettysburg. So she loves battlefields, which I do too. But she's more into the paranormal stuff. She loves graveyards, So,
oh yeah.
Not just for paranormal, but for the history too.
There's plenty of ghosts up there. You guys will definitely come across some ghosts, but of course you can run into some ghosts in some of these Civil War battlefields down here in the South too. I know y'all got plenty out there in Alabama. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, Chickamauga's a good one. That's where they're about to have an Old Green Eyes Festival coming up next month, and I'd know that. Yeah, I'd like to go to. I might go up there for that. I might go up there if I can get a Saturday off. I will go up there for that.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah. Shiloh's another good one. Shiloh has a lot of paranormal to it too.
Oh yeah. Well, that's wonderful, and I am just so blessed to have you here today. And oh my gosh, we got Terry Brown in the chat. Hey Terry, says hello, my friend. I hope you're well. Thank you for that super sticker. Oh my gosh, that was so sweet of you. Good to see you, Terry. And I got to meet Terry at the Squatch Out last year up in East Tennessee Squatch Out. So thank you, Terry Brown. I appreciate you. And Mark, I appreciate you, and I just can't wait to see you again. You and Rebecca, I always have a lot of fun getting to hang out with y'all. Maybe we'll go camping again sometime. I'll come meet y'all. when you have another camp out sometime.
All right. Sounds
And,
good.
Yeah. Can you tell everybody? Do you want to tell everybody about your YouTube channel and your Facebook group or
Yep.
your Facebook? You got it. Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, it's Cedar Creek Bottoms Farmstead Life on YouTube and on Facebook. My wife, Rebecca tends more to do more of the homesteading, and I do more of the, Bigfoot, Dogman, UFO type stuff, and also more biblical stuff. And we have a live. We try to do a live once a week, usually Friday night. And I try to put out videos and here and there. Usually I do more in the winter than I do in the summer. But and we had a very good live Friday night. If anybody wants to go check it out, we went down in a deep subject. So, even though if you disagree, you ought to still go listen to it. And that's one thing. If people disagree with me, that is fine. I'm still going to be your friend as long as you don't get belligerent with me. I'm going to be good with you. So.
That's a good way to be. I know there's a lot of bickering back and forth sometimes, but if we can all just still be friends, it's all good.
That's it.
Okay?
That's it.
We don't have to all agree on everything. We can agree to disagree. That's the way I look at it. Yeah. I love that. No, I really appreciate, Mark, how you've actually gotten into talking about UFOs and stuff. I've watched your shows. Okay. And I know, and you've gotten into it's really good to have an open mind about all this and see maybe how some of these things are connected with the Bigfoot and the Dogman and even UFOs, maybe even portals and stuff. I mean, who knows? And ghosts, all that.
Well, we need to talk more about all the different things, and because they all are interwoven somehow. They're interwoven. To me, they are. So.
They sure are. I agree. Well, y'all go over to Cedar Creek Bottoms Farmstead Life on YouTube, and y'all got a Facebook page as well, I believe. Do y'all have a Facebook page? Okay.
Yes, we do.
Couldn't remember. Okay. And y'all go follow them.
We put mostly homesteading stuff on it. I have talked about maybe, I don't know if I can set up 2 different pages with that or not and do one side Bigfoot, one side, but I don't know how it works. So
just combine it all. Just combine it. Yeah. That's what you need to do because you got Bigfoots and Dogmen on the farmstead.
Right.
So that's perfect. Listen, it's a hybrid deal. Okay. Yeah, it's combined. Right. And I think that's actually pretty cool. And there's probably a lot of other people who experience that do have a farmstead. That have Bigfoots on them, and so they can relate. So I would keep it a combo. That's my opinion.
I agree with you.
Yeah. Well, I just love it. Thank you so much, Mark, for being here. And please
you having me on, and I've really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed everybody in the chat. Good to see a lot of my family in there and friends. So that was good to see that, and really enjoyed it.
Well, thank you. And we got to say happy birthday to Patrick Noble today, too. Patrick was in the chat. We have such wonderful people coming in here. And also, before we go, I wanted to thank Blazer, too. Blazer just gave some memberships to my YouTube membership thing. It's called the Hunt Club. So thank you, Blazer. That is so sweet of you. Gifted 5 Cryptid Hunters memberships. I just put a brand new video in there, an exclusive video yesterday. So thank you, Blazer, for doing that. And thank you to Terry Brown as well for that super sticker. And all right, well, everybody, thank y'all so much for being here today and for joining us. And it was a blessing having everybody here. And please come back and see me tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. I'll be here with another remote viewing show for you guys. And I saw that, Mark, you're going to be on a show tomorrow night, I think, over.
I'll be on with Roger on Squatch and Holler with Untold Radio. So.
Yeah, I just saw that right before we went live, and I was like, "Dang, okay, cool." I have a show at the same time, but that's going to be an awesome show over there with you guys tomorrow night. So, Mark, thank you for spending your afternoon with us over here. You're the best, and please be safe. Please stay safe out there, okay?
I will sure will.
And give sister a pat on the head for me, okay? Tell her a good girl. She did good today. All right. She did. Okay, everybody, have a wonderful day. I got to go get my kid. And I will see you guys back tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. All right.
Okay. Everybody take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
You too. Thanks, Mark. Okay. Bye, y'all.